Hi everyone. Recently I started painting with gouache paints on a gouache sheet. So this is something new that I'm doing. So these are the two bookmarks that I had made earlier with the same thing. So these are gouache paints. They are more pigmented, and when you touch them, like if you run your finger on this, it's a little chalky in texture. But the final results are really beautiful. So I'm looking forward to work more on this. This is some new thing that I'm trying, and since this was my first trial, so it went well. And this was the green background that I did, and this was the black one that I did, and this was my second trial, and it came out really well. I was really happy with the results, so I'm really looking forward to do more of this. So right now what I'm doing is that I'm just trying to paint the background black here as I have done in this one, and I'll try it with a similar technique I'm going to use here, and let's see what we get as a final result. So let's hope for the best, and if you stay here with me for that period of time, I'll be really happy and thankful for your time and for your support. So this is what I'm trying to do again, maybe with a different color, maybe with a hint of blue or green or maybe purple as well. So it depends totally on what clicks my mind at that point of time. So stay with me and watch me how I paint this up. So this is actually gouache paints uh, on a gouache sheet. Okay, stay with me to see how I'm doing it. Thank you so much for joining me here. So these paints are pretty different to what I have previously been doing with. I have always been an ardent fan of watercolors. So previous of my work, if you have been there with me, or if you have liked or subscribed to my work, you would have seen that it's basically watercolors that I'm using, which are pretty easy to use, and they have a very nice texture, because since we are using watercolors, so they have this flowing capacity as well, they merge well, so they have a different texture and they are very playful. I mean, it's very easy to use them. Gouache, maybe I'm doing it for the first time, I find them a little challenging. Why? Because they are really pigmented, but the best part about them is that you really layer them up well. Like with watercolors, if you layer put a layer of a different color, you see that the colors blend and they form a totally different color there. But with gouache paints, this does not happen. As you can also see in this painting, I have layered the background, sorry, I have actually layered the colors here, and I have used a black background, and on top of that I have used various shades of green, and then I made vermilion flowers on this. And then just take a black paper. Why you coloring black? I just want to, since I'm using gouache paint, I just wanted to see how it comes out. And this if you see that the reflection is better on the like if you use it with different colors, the color capacity pays out really well. And with black sheet, I think there are less options, and the color don't seem to come out really well in that way. So doing a color on color makes the colors a little pop. I hope you got my answer, Nikhil Rajput. So this is how it goes. These colors are really nice things because they are pigmented, they are really good. And on top of that, it will save your time. Yeah, you're correct, Nikhil. Absolutely correct. But if you see it from an artist's point of view perspective, I would say this is just a procedure that I'm following. I have watched certain videos in order to kind of just get a hang of how they're doing it up here. So I have seen that they are coloring the background, and then they are kind of just making the colors pop by adding more layers to it. So if you just check it from the kind of artist perspective, this is just one of the process that I'm following roughly. No other thing there. It will just dry out in a few minutes, and then we can proceed further with the layering of the second color, which would be roughly that I'll be using wild ferns or grass or leaves. Like if you go into the wilderness, you will observe that if you just take the whole look of the place that you are in, uh, you just see it as a normal landscape and you just see vivid colors there. I mean, nothing is not very descriptive, or you say that very peculiarly you could just see things out there. But again, if you just give it a random look, everything just looks same, but you see different varied colors. I mean, nothing is like very clear, but again the greens are there but the petals are not so distinct. The blues are there but the flowers, if the flowers are blue, I mean you see the blue color, but again the petals and other features are not clear because you're seeing them from far. But if you watch them up close, you see how they are well defined and how things are there. So the idea is just to just catch up that part. I'm going to just show how the wilderness, how the wild plants or the wild leaves just grow up, and this is what I'm trying to show here. I hope I'm able to do it well because this is my third trial with gouache paints, and I hope I'm able to kind of bring it out here on the sheet, my imagination that I'm thinking here. Another thing that I noticed about the gouache paints is that with my watercolor palette, the colors are there. I mean, they're not so dried up or like falling around like this. They are pretty chalky in texture. So they have seemed to dry it up. They have dried up a lot, and they just like when I close the palette, they just seem to fall off. So this is one thing that I noticed with gouache paint. They are absolutely different things to work with, and they are little challenging. So I think with regular practice I'll get a good hang of it. And do support me, do follow me, do like and subscribe to my work so that you can see how am I learning and how am I progressing with my work here. I'll just mute myself for some time and I'll just allow this sheet to dry. Maybe in like 2-3 minutes this will dry up, and then I can proceed further with the different color. I'll just see if the colors are even or not, because the very first trial, which was actually I did in a rush, I had used water as a base, and then I thought I'll just do water dabbing and then I'll just put on the colors, and I just thought that it will flow. But that eventually did not happen because these are different colors. They were very tricky when I tried out for the first time, and this is what I got. So then I realized that gouache paint doesn't require that much of water, so I directly use the paint I use. So you can see the difference here, but this is like more of water, and you can see how dull this looks, because you can also see the sheet. This is a cold press sheet, 300 DSM1, so you can see the dots there which are not looking so nice. And the other sheet that I did, you can see the difference between the two, how the colors, like I have used less water here and the colors are pretty vivid. So this is the trick with gouache paints, like you use them directly with the from the tube that you are using, and they are, or if you use them in a palette, you should keep them in an airtight sealed palette so that the colors don't dry as they have dried out here. Since I was not aware of this, so I had this fallout here as well, and this is will be a wastage for me with these little particles. So again, what I learned from all of this is that be open to learning. Learning always is an advantage, and you should never stop yourself from learning, because every day you are learning, every day you're doing new things. So this actually helps you out in bringing out the best in you, and of course, it's a stress buster. So I'll just pause myself for some time here. Not pause, I'll just mute myself for 2 minutes and I'll get back. Meanwhile, the sheet will dry and I'll proceed further with the next step. Please stay here with me for some time. Okay, the color has dried out a lot now. It has dried completely. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm just going to use. I am planning to do blue colors flower here. So first I'll do the leaves, or maybe the random leaves that I could think of. So I'm using sap green, and I'll just make the wild bushes. Probably just using a lot of color, less water, so that I get a pigmented thing. Look here, and with very soft hands, less pressure on the leaves. Sorry, less pressure on the brush. I'm just going to make wild bushes in the upward direction. Okay, the strokes are going to be in the upward direction, so it's going to be like this. Just random strokes of wilderness. Just have that thought in your mind that you're just seeing wild in the you're like walking in the wild and just seeing things that are just distinct in their own way, but again there are, you are watching them from afar, so the things are not very clear. They're just forming a faint hue faint hues of colors there, so nothing is very perfect here, but again you can see the random colors there. So this is how it's going to be. I'm just making light strokes with sap green, and see, sap green is looking so dull on this black. So this is what gouache paints is all about. I mean, you use them, the pigments do work, but again they have their own individuality. They are playing their own role. So the black has formed a good base here, but again the other colors are not getting absorbed. And the other part that I really love about it, that you can then really layer them well, because they do not merge as generally happens in watercolors. If you would just use your brush twice, a wet brush on the watercolors twice, you could see that you lose the beauty of the painting. But I don't think so this is the case with the gouache paints, because again every color has its own individuality and they are playing out really well. So again they are charismatic in their own way, but again the technique is pretty different here. So you would see that the colors are going to be working out well here. So I'm just going to form a rough background with the rough wild ferns, and then I'll proceed with the other part of the colors as well. Use very gentle hands, very light hands, less pressure on the brush, so that the strokes that you get are really fine. I don't want any wild strokes here, but again any direction they would go on, because this is how the wild is all about. So this is what I wanted here. I've just drawn the base with black, and then I've just drawn some wild lines, random lines, just to show that there are certain ferns or petals that they are growing along. So nothing very distinct here, but again they are different in their own way. I'm going to use this blue for the flowers. I think it will show out really well. So let's see, I'm using it for the first time. Let's see how I get this. So be patient with me again, because again gouaches are different, and I'm trying my best to put show up the best thing here. So let's see how it comes. You can see how the colors have their own individuality. They are not runny. Of course, you are using them in a way that they shouldn't be runny, because again their pigment lose their what you can say is vibrancy. So if you use less water, I think the color payout comes out really nicely. So I like it this way, and I think this is how we do it. So So I hope you like this. This is the last one that I tried out with blue and white flowers, and I reciprocated the center part. I had used blue in this center of the white flowers and white in the center of the blue flowers. So this was the twist that I did here. So I hope you like my work, because this was my third bookmark, probably the fourth one. The first one that I did was not a good one, because it was my first trial, and you can see the white sheet behind. So I did not have a good idea about how to continue with this, so this did not go well. But I think I improvised in the second one. This gives a little nicer look. Why? Because you can see the pigments of the color and how well they have come up here. Then this was the second one that I tried out, and finally this one I just did in the live session. So I hope you like my work, and I hope you will join me back again, because this is like a gouache paint on a gouache sheet. And since I am new to this is my learning journey. I'm still learning it up, so this is the journey that I've just started up. I hope you like my work, and I hope you like and subscribe to my channel, because that will really help me out. Thank you for joining me, everyone. It really means a lot. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Have a nice night.